and we started the video,
I was coloring.
I wasn't prepared for our video yet.
I was coloring.
That's nice. It's a pretty
Square
picture. Okay. We didn't know we were. Are we ready for the video?
Oh, I'm somewhat organized.
Ready? We're ready for the video. Man, I was a little flustered here. Oh man. Oh.
Working on Halloween costume and
A
everything.
little flustered. Okay, organized. Put this one in here. Color pencils away. I like that picture.
My Halloween costume.
It's preparing for Halloween. Okay, so we're prepared for the video started. All of a sudden, the camera just mysteriously started and our video's ready to go. Okay. Oh, hey, what's up, guys? And welcome to another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. Alongside my partner, Quaddy. I am J-Man. On this edition of the Pulse, me and you guys our WWE Hell in a Cell 2014 preview coming this Sunday on the WWE Network, or if you're still retarded and watch it on pay-per-view, then it'll be available on pay-per-view
I don't think anybody has it on pay-per-view.
I don't think it is available on pay-per-view.
Because I looked on my new DirecTV.
I don't know. There's something probably out there that you
probably find on the internet,
You know, like everybody's gonna
like
watch.
burning off the internet, like
they can't pay $10 a month because they're fucking poor or something. I don't fucking know. Yeah. So we got the Cell pay-per-view this Sunday. Yeah, just WWE's not really in good shape right now. Struggling with a lot of stuff.
And that Duck Dynasty guy was
struggling through. Oh my god. Jesus fuck. Struggling through some Raws to get through, honestly. With a lot of the same old shit they've been doing. Really haven't. Every time they get towards this time of year, it just kind of stales out, and it seems to do it every fucking year. Which is unfortunate, seeing how we're going to Survivor Series next month. But it just seems to kind of just like, bleh, just kind of hold over throughout the winter and, get ready for Rumble and all that kind of stuff. But there is some stuff on here that could be really, really good. And definitely the main event here we've been looking forward to for a very long time, and should be some great stuff. We're going to run down the card for you. First matchup, we have...
no, we're physically going to run down this card.
We're going to run it. We're going to run this shit.
We're going to run a train on this card.
We got the Big Show going up against Rusev. Don't fucking care. You guys have heard my opinion about Rusev. It's not, that shit doesn't work anymore. It's especially in the PG era, throwing up pictures of Vladimir Putin trying to get heat. Like, it works to the way of every American's gonna fucking root against a Russian guy that's saying how shitty. It's so cheap. Like, it's just the cheapest fucking heat known to man. He might as well just come out and shit on everybody's sports teams. Or Lana could come out and shit on everybody's sports teams. Even though he got a segment with The Rock. Okay. Random as fuck. Big Show doing his whole... This is the patriotic Big Show. We have the menacing big monster giant Big Show. We have the lovable, teddy bear fucking giving out to kids, kissing babies Big Show. And this is the stand up for America Big Show.
Where's the one that...
This is America Big Show.
Where's the one that flipped over Stacy Keibler's car?
Stacy Keibler's car? That is random as fuck. I know he flipped over a car.
I just remember watching it on a DVD.
Why would he flip over Stacy Keibler's car?
Or Tori Wilson's.
Some diva's car.
Some diva's car. Because he smashed in the back window.
The Diva Car Flipper Big Show. No, it is not the Diva Car Flipping Big Show that we're going to be getting this Sunday. It's the America. Stand up for America Big Show. Because Mark Henry couldn't. Jack Swagger couldn't. So we just keep going up in size.
So is Khali next?
The caliber of Americans that Rusev is facing is just continuing to go up in size.
Okay, there we go.
That's what we're getting here. We're running out of Americans that can be big enough to face Rusev.
I hope we don't get Hulk Hogan next.
Yep. I'm going to go with Rusev. This is what happens every time. They stack the odds and say how he can't take down America anymore. And it keeps being the same fucking shit over and over again. So I'm going to go with Rusev and just an absolute shit-fest match.
I don't care.
Next up, something that I fucking care about. Wait for all these steps here. The loser of this next match must become the winner's personal assistant for 1 month. 30 calendar days.
Okay, bitch.
And if the loser does not comply with said rules, then they will be fired, or will be fired, will be forced to quit World Wrestling Entertainment. We have the Battle of the Sea Stars. Brie Bella going up against Nikki Bella.
I need my color pencil back to think on this one.
Next matchup, we have the United States Championship on the line when Champion Sheamus goes up against The Miz. We're going to get into the double switch on the contestants against the champions for the U.S.
The price is right.
It is. Price is wrong, Happy. Against the mid-card champions here, U.S. and IC title. Switching Sheamus's opponent at Night of Champions, which was Cesaro, and switching Ziggler's opponent, which was The Miz, flip-flopping the contenders there. So we have Sheamus and The Miz here. Just like the IC title, there's nothing built up. I don't even know how this match was announced, to be quite honest with you. They've just been continuing to do shit with Miz and Sandow. They think it's, just the greatest thing ever, just to have Sandow just come out and just mimic and just mime everything that The Miz does, because that works, I guess. That's just the most brilliant thing ever, to use Damien Sandow as a mime to The Miz. I just can't get over how fucking retarded that is. Yeah, and when Sandow is getting more over than The Miz is, because who gives a shit about The Miz anymore? It's not 2011. As for a winner, I mean, Sheamus hasn't been doing shit. There's continuing talks, as it's gone on forever, with talking about turning Sheamus heel, which I don't see how they would do that, really. And I really don't understand why anyone would quite give a shit. Because, I mean, who cares? Like, it's Sheamus. Like, he's like watered down heel, watered down face. I don't care what you're gonna do with him. Like, I could give two shits. Has he become a better worker? Yeah, when he's in there with some great talent, he's a good worker. But as far as character and what he provides in that realm, I just don't see much there. And I just never really have. And I don't think that there's any progress shown to really do anything to get excited about a Sheamus heel run. Like, no. Like, yeah, he put on some quality matches with some guys, but as far as wanting to turn him and having that great Sheamus heel character, like, no, don't really give two fucks about that. As for a winner, I don't know. It made no sense when, The Miz beat Ziggler and then they gave it back to Ziggler the next night because they needed to do that. I don't really know. None of this fucking makes sense. I mean, the booking is turning into fucking TNA booking where they're just starting to throw fucking shit at a dartboard. I mean, it makes no goddamn sense. So I'll just stick with the safe bet and just have Sheamus retain here.
Sheamus.
Next matchup, we have the Divas title on the line when champion AJ Lee goes up yet again against Paige.
Oh, she's also on Total Divas now.
Paige you're referring to.
Yeah.
She's on Total Divas now.
Because AJ would make too much sense.
Yet again, just nothing really going on with what should be stuff going on. That didn't make any sense, but what I'm trying to say is there should be a hell of a lot more going on with AJ Lee and Paige when it comes to their talent and what they can play, their characters that they're playing. But as soon as they get two talented girls like this, they just throw them into this weird kind of lesbian shit, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. They just are like, okay, now she's just in love with her, and they're just pulling the whole Mickey and Trish shit from 06. That's just the shit they refer to all the time. That's just what that's their go-to. Let's just turn into a lesbian angle when we can't make it into just the modern day Trish and Lita, because that's what they could really turn it into with the talent and what match quality they could put on here. At first I thought it was kind of cool, but it just came out of nowhere. Like, all of a sudden Paige is fucking massively into AJ when they didn't build around it. She just came in as like this blah character, and then they turned her heel, and all of a sudden she's a fucking lesbian or something, and she wants, I don't know.
So was she straight when she was face?
Right.
And then when she's
heel, then it gets weird.
She became butch.
Yeah. That's what they like to do with their heels in WWE. Or heel divas.
Didn't they do Jimmy Superfly's starter?
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 Jimmy Superfly's starter?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, it's sad that it's already just run its course. I mean, it feels like they've had like 70 matches already, and they haven't. But they've just done it's the same old shit here. Yet another throwaway, blah, 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 here you go, match that has really just been built up with just random tag shit and it's such a blur. Like, you watch it and you're like, why does any of this matter? Like, I mean, with a lot of this stuff, like, it's just like, okay? Like, there's literally, you have to, like, pick out, like, okay, that works. Like, okay, that works. Like, it's just, you're just watching a giant blur, and you're trying to figure out why any of this shit makes any goddamn sense. This is one that doesn't make any fucking sense. They just keep doing the same fucking shit over and over and over again. Makes no sense to pick Paige, really, and, she'll probably end up winning, because that's what makes sense, I guess, to them. I'll go with AJ. Retaining, I guess.
I have to agree with Jim on this. It's getting to the point where they're trying to, like, I guess, get to the society point of view of what's cool, and I guess that's having a lesbian friend. Because we already have our gays on the Raw roster, so might as well have them lesbians. HLA. They need to focus more on in-ring ability than what the hell is going on outside of the ring. They need to focus on having the Trish and Lita aspect of this if they want to have this actually work. Because right now we're just like, okay, there's really nobody else that they can do anything with, obviously, because Natalya is too good of a wrestler, and Alicia Fox is butt-ass fucking crazy. So you can't, like, mix things up or add more people into it, or I don't want, like, a giant clusterfuck with, like, a fucking Battle Royal, but put a fucking Fatal 4-Way, or is that still a pay-per-view?
I don't think it is.
Okay, so...
Might have made it a year. 2, maybe.
Like Capital Punishment?
Yeah.
But, so, if you do something like that, where we just add more people so it actually looks like they may actually lose the title, now it's just like J-Man said when he was writing down his card, it's like a piece of candy. Who wants it this time, guys? So, I'm going to go with AJ retaining.
But really, like, when you say it, you're like, why?
For what reason? I don't know.
Why can't...
Maybe she'll put on a strap on and just have a little fun with her.
Whoa. Gonna turn into a weird gimmick match like the other Divas match on this card.
Which one's that?
I don't know why. Why can't we just have feuds based on competition? Like, why is it that hard? You have 2 evenly matched people in their prime. For divas, like, that's saying something. When you get equal talent, you could be like, wow, they could really go out there and put on, some quality stuff. They have a lot of like qualities. Their characters kind of match in their different ways. They kind of match. Why can't you just go out there and have a competition every time and build this rivalry around that? That's what you did with Trish and Lita. They're polar opposites, and it was just based on competition. They wanted to be out there and be the best diva on the roster. Why can't we see that? Instead, we just have to have other outside shit to make a feud. You don't need any of that. Just competition. They're great, women's wrestlers. They have great quality of work. They could go on there and put on some entertaining stuff for Divas matches. And they're extremely similar. Base the damn thing on competition. That's all you gotta do. And people will get behind it. Like, oh shit, she got the best of her this time, but what's gonna happen next time? Because they're so evenly matched. Instead, they just keep building it off of, well, I don't know, maybe she's going to suck on her titty next week, because then she'll get the advantage. Like, what? Like, I don't
know how Punk would feel about that.
I'm sure he'd be alright with it. He'd probably be alright.
Phil Brooks.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about.
Can't buy his t-shirts anymore.
Next match up. We have the WWE Tag Titles Live, win gold and Stardust, go up against the Usos. Same old stuff here. It'll be a quality match. But that's really what you get. I mean, same thing. I mean, yeah, you can get a quality match, but there's nothing behind it that really is like, okay. Again, I don't even know how the fuck this shit was put together. I mean, what? Like, okay, it seems like they've just done a bunch of, like, 6-man tags and shit, and they're like, okay, the Usos get a shot for the tag titles. I don't even know if they've gotten their rematch when they lost it. They might have on Raw that I right through. Yeah, I'm going to go with Gold Stardust because I just don't see a need to give it back to the Usos. They had a pretty lengthy title run. I'm a huge fan of the Usos. I think they did a lot to enhance the tag division. The quality of work that they put on there with the Wyatt family and the Shield and Golden Stardust have put on some really quality stuff, and I really have enjoyed the last 6 months to a year of the tag division. It's been some great stuff when you look at the talent that's been in almost fucking a year and a half. You just throwing the Shield guys in there when they were in tag stuff. So I mean, really, I think a lot of people were shitting on the tag division for years and years and years, and I think they're showing an effort, and they're at least, which is I know was a big thing for Triple H, who wanted to show an effort and kind of rebuilding the tag division, stuff like that. And I think this is a great start with what we've seen. I don't think it's the the end of it by any means, because I think there's a lot more stuff they could really capitalize on, because a lot of these guys are really young. You look at the Usos, and you look at guys like the Shield, and you look at guys, or not the Shield anymore, but those kind of guys, if they ever get back in there. You look at the guys in the Wyatt family. So, I mean, you could have a lot of stuff, and you putting more tag teams together. I mean, you're not even utilizing Kofi Kingston. Like, he'd be great in a tag team. Throw him in there with somebody. So, I mean, you could really, utilize some of this talent and throw them in there with the tag division and really just go in there and just base it off of what I was talking about in the Divas, just competition and put on really quality work. And that's, really what the tag division's been all about for the last 6 months or so. I'm going to go with Golden Stardust retaining just because, like I said, I just don't see any reason to give it back to the Usos.
Like Jim had said, the Usos really changed the whole tag division. I guess they stepped it up to the next notch. If you look at the NXT roster, there's a lot of tag teams down there that could be brought up any time now. And it seems like we're just like stuck in mud right now, and they don't know if the Ascension's really ready to jump, or there's a couple other tag divisions, or there's people on the roster that they can make tag teams with. So it seems like we're just like tag division stuck in the mud. We don't know if we want to give it a push or not. I see Goldust and Stardust win this again. It kind of gets to the point where why would you give it back to Usos unless they have something coming up? Because which one's heel? Isn't Goldust Stardust? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens. It'll be a good quality match, but it's just like...
That was a good point by Quad. I mentioned the NXT guys, the Ascensions, talking about bringing them up. And you got the Lucha Dragons, too, which is Sin Cara and Kalisto, which, they could put on really entertaining matches. Throw them in there with the Usos, that would be some really great stuff. And they're at least a gimmicked, set together, matching attire, same shit tag team. And that's
you don't even need to put tag titles on it. You could just have a regular tag match on a card, and it'll still be worthwhile watching.
Right, so yeah, I mean, just seeing those kind of guys that can be brought up, and then, so I mean, there's a future there, and they just need to kind of just give it time, and just give it time to kind of progress and, see what we get in the future. So it should be some good stuff. They start, utilizing those guys and bringing those guys up. Next up, we have the, I believe, 4,728th matchup between Randy Orton and John Cena.
Hold on, let me go with Wikipedia.
Yeah, we need to figure that out. We have the number one contenders Hell in a Cell match for the WWE World Title, Randy Orton and John Cena. Yeah, it's Randy Cena. That's what we get. That's our, I mean, basically it's this generation's, fucking Rock and Austin. Should be Punk and Cena if we would have got, what we should have seen. That would have been the feud. But yeah, this is this generation's, thing. This is always, in my opinion, yeah, we see it over and over and over again, but really, if I harken back and look back at that 2009 feud that they had at the end of the year, I fucking loved that feud so much. That was back when, Randy Orton as heel was about as relevant as you could possibly think of, up until this, before here. What am I trying to say? Was the last time he was relevant as a heel is what I should say. And just was putting on some amazing stuff and got over that character and that gimmick like to a fucking T. Loved everything about that. Every time I think of Randy Orton and John Cena, I always think of Civil Twilight. That fucking song. Oh my god. Every single time I think of that. If any of you guys have not checked out that song, or if you don't know what we're talking about, go do it right now. Civil Twilight, Letters from the Sky. Fucking amazing song. They used it for the promo for Bragging Rights 2009 for their Anything Goes Iron Man match. Right after they had, the Breaking Point submission, or I Quit match, and then they had their, there it is, the Breaking Point submission match, their Hell in a Cell match. Love that feud. Love that time. I loved 2009 was a fun year, and with some really great stuff. And Randy Orton and John Cena really just stole the show towards the end of that year with the feud that they put on, the dynamic of character that they put on. I feel like I'm a fucking badass at this fucking song, like talking about this feud. But it's 2014, unfortunately. That's the only bad thing. Just not okay. It's really throwing me off because I'm talking about the bad part of it. Great song though. Check that shit out if you guys have not seen that. It's amazing. But yeah, so same old shit kind of here. I loved Randy. It was just a lot of fun when they were in Kansas City this past Monday, and Randy Orton just healing it up beyond belief with the "Let's Go Royals" chants that the Kansas City crowd was doing. And Randy just kept getting so pissed off. You could so tell when Randy is like legit so pissed off. He's just like trying to get over the crowd and get over his promo and all this kind of stuff, and talking back about their feud and stuff. So yeah, I mean, I think the match quality will be good. It's Randy Orton and John Cena. They have great chemistry, and they know what to do. They know how to put on a great match. And I think that's what they want to do. Not having Brock Lesnar on this card. John Cena is a huge Randy Orton fan. He's always said that. He said he's one of the most talented and best performers that he's ever been in the ring with and has ever seen. I don't need John Cena to tell me that by any means about Randy Orton. But I think that they want to go out there and say, we don't need the fucking title on this shit. We go out there and have a really great matchup that people aren't even giving a shit about. Because they really don't. This is like the most underrated match on this fucking card. I think it could really perform and really be, some good shit. Definitely, if we're talking about fantasy, like a sleeper pick. This would be my sleeper pick as far as a really great matchup that we could get out of this. And as far as the number one contenders element in this, which I think just gives away, I think it'd give it away that I'm obviously picking John Cena to win this matchup. But yeah, it's kind of interesting what they're going to be doing there. Don't know if we'll get it at Survivor Series here in St. Louis. But I did say in the future they brought Heyman out there, had Randy RKO Heyman. So that was that whole segment was a lot of fun with Heyman, Cena, and Randy. I really enjoyed that. But having Cena getting thrown in here after losing that contract on a pole, whatever the fuck. Thank God they didn't do that at the pay-per-view match on Raw to Ambrose, having Ambrose go on to face Rollins here, and then having Cena Norton this one, throwing that number one contender stipulation on here. So I don't know. I think this could be some good stuff. I know no one gives a shit about this. Like, I almost guarantee that no one does because of how many times Randy Orton and John Cena face each other. But I'll be thinking about the good old days back in 2009 and that feud that they have because I thoroughly enjoyed that feud as a massive Randy Orton fan. I loved every bit of it. And really, cemented as that really one of the best feuds, in WWE history there. So as a winner, definitely going with John Cena, going on fucking face Lesnar for the fucking third time, will be fourth time in their technical history, but in the last couple months here. And I think as far as a sleeper match, this would be the one to look forward to on Sunday.
Like Jim said, I think it's one of those matches that people overlook because they've seen the name before, they've seen it in a feud before. I kind of agree with Jimmy. As long as it's not main event, I'll be pumped for it.
Yes.
I'll be very, very glued to the TV for it because you don't know what's really going to happen. And then you add the aspect of the cell, it's all it's going to be there. I just hope Orton can pull out enough out of Cena for this match to be worthwhile. Because I know Orton can go for days with anybody you throw against. And it seems like Cena can only come up big whenever he needs to with big guys in the ring. I see Orton winning this. I don't see them continue on the Cena-Lesnar shit. I see Orton winning this and then Lesnar saying, oh, you RKO'd Heyman, blah, blah, and him pulling the bitch card and all this nonsense. I just hope this match is worth all this hype we were getting this. Because I can just see it being a quick-ass match and nosediving and it's shit, so.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't do that. Because, if they give it time, I think it definitely could produce. Another match that I pretty much guarantee will produce will be the 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental title. It will be champion Dolph Ziggler going up against Cesaro. You can't really say anything else but 2 of the best performers, 2 of the best athletes in the world today. And you go out there and you give them time, it's going to be some great stuff. It's fucking Dolph Ziggler and Cesaro. They really didn't set this one up just like the U.S. title. They had like a one-on-one match, and they had Cesaro beat Ziggler on Raw. And then I think they do it again on SmackDown or something like that. I'm guessing.
No, I think it's more backstage stuff as well.
Okay, whatever they do, and then they set it up or something like that to get this 2 out of 3 falls matchup. Love the gimmick that they place on this 2 out of 3 falls. It really makes you think of just guys that can go, athletic guys, and makes you think of the IC title. That really what it should be. Really makes you think about that kind of stuff. They need to decide somebody to fucking get behind because they keep throwing Cesaro in here and make you think they're going to go with him. They give Ziggler the IC title, then they have him drop it, and then they have him get it back. It's just like, what the fuck? Get behind somebody, fucking go with it. If you're going to, you guys are making these guys in the mid-card, for the love of God. They should be, up, towards the main event, in our eyes. If you're going to put them in the mid-card, fucking go with it and just sell out to it. It's like, don't fucking, maybe I'll get thrown around. No, don't fuck around with it. Give these guys some credible wins, whoever you fucking go with, and go with them. Stop flip-flopping shit and treating everything like fucking candy. Yeah, we know it's around Halloween, but we don't want fucking championship titles to be treated like fucking candy. I'm going to go with Ziggler retaining here. I am thoroughly, looking forward to this one. I hope everybody shuts the fuck up in the basement so we can actually pay attention to this fucking one. Hopefully we won't have Robert talking about his love for the Royals. Where did that come from again? He lived in
Atlanta?
Did he like the Braves? Or, I don't... Brian McKee.
So the history of the Hell in a Cell, it was made with a chain link fence by a company named George. He made it by hand, the first Hell in a Cell with Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker.
I'm going to go with Dolph Ziggler retaining the championship here.
They had 97,000 people there, and 26,000 were women for some apparent reason. And then the other half of them...
874 boy children there, 675 little girl children there.
And then the length of Shawn Michaels' hair grew 2 inches during that match because of all the sweat. So,
sweat make your hair grow?
The referee had to go pee about 9 minutes into the match. So
looking forward to this one. 2 amazing athletes, 2 great performers. Should be some really great stuff. Eyes will be glued to the TV for sure. And I'm gonna go with Ziggler retaining the IC title.
In my opinion, the IC title should have the stipulation on all the matches. 2 out of 3 is to show workhorses, and that's what the IC title is. It's not one of these titles. It should be one of these titles. It's like, who are we gonna give it to? Big Show? Oh yeah, that makes sense. Biggie? Oh yeah, that makes no. Once both of those shouldn't be on the card. But whenever you see the IC title, you think of the Shawn Michaels, you think of the great ladder match he had, you think of the guys that could actually go. With these 2 names and the way they keep flipping the shit, I don't really know what's going to come out of this. 2 out of 3 falls means this match should take longer than most other matches. It should take. The way WWE thinks it is, 2 out of 3 falls, 10 minutes. What? When you have one guy, Cesaro, that could probably go for about 2 hours before he needs a cup of water. And Ziggler is just one of those high-flying guys that is there to impress the fans and to get people behind him. I see Ziggler retaining this. I see them continue on with Ziggler. I hope the feud continues, because that'd be great to see a Survivor Series. But I just hope they finally get all their eggs in one basket and don't continue on putting eggs in other baskets.
Right. Next up, we have the main event, Hell in a Cell match between former Shield brethren Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. This feud that's been built up ever since Rollins' heel turn on Ambrose and Roman Reigns. And then breaking it off into this sub feud with Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. It's been some great stuff. Really, the only thing noteworthy on WWE television in fucking recent memory.
Are you sure about Monday?
True. We want to forget about that fucking segment. Why would you make Dean Ambrose look like a fucking idiot? Yeah, I mean, they've just been building up Dean Ambrose as the definite number 2 babyface, having Roman Reigns injury and all the other stuff going on, Daniel Bryan out. All that kind of stuff. So you have Dean Ambrose set up as your number 2 babyface, behind John Cena, and really been getting, just as equal, the reactions of a John Cena is, going out there and, having the matchup for the contract, which is fucking retarded, the tag matchup, the interesting segments they've been doing with, with him and Cena. So really throwing him up there is, these guys are the future. These guys fucking are the present. And it's amazing with, if you'd have told me this, when these guys would have came into the main roster, that it would be this fucking soon, I'd have been like, you're fucking crazy. Like, there's no way this is going to, end up being this way this soon. And it has. And it's great to see, with all the injuries and, the absences and this kind of shit. It's great to see they're going with the guys they should be going with. And if this isn't the main event, God damn it, we're going to have some fucking problems, because this is the main event. This is what everybody should be tuning into the show for, because these guys are going to go out there and show you what we have known all along, and we'll say it a bajillion times, that these guys are the future, these guys are the present, and these guys are show stealers, and they are for years to come. They've been doing great shit for years and years that nobody has fucking seen, because they turned a blind eye to, watch out for that indie shit, we can't check that shit out. Yeah, you should, because where the fuck do you think, your crop of talent is getting picked out of? That's where it's coming from. So go check out the future, watch fucking indie wrestling, goddammit, because, that's where these guys are getting picked out of. So go check that shit out for sure, because this is it right here. These were the cream of the crop, type guys that came in there. So you definitely want to go check those kind of guys out, because, this is what you're getting now. They're going to main event a WWE pay-per-view, and that's great to see, because that's, what they deserve, and that's what we deserve to see as, wrestling fans, because that's That's the best best thing you got right now. So yeah, the feud's been really good stuff. Last week, not so much with what they made Dean Ambrose do with that fucking mannequin or doll or whatever. Fucking retarded. But yeah, really looking forward to this one. This is, like I said, I think in the topics video, like the most needed Hell in a Cell gimmick. I think it's something that they didn't just, hey, this is October, we need to have a Hell in a Cell match. This is like, we built this up, this feud needs to be inside Hell in a Cell. That's how Hell in a Cell should be used. We talked about it in our Pulse 10, you know, Hell in a Cell matches. You don't fucking build a cell match or build a cell around just a random match. You build a feud to get to a Hell in a Cell match, because that's what you do. That's your blow off. You get it inside the cell, and you have those guys just go at it. And that's what this feud needed. It needed to get into Hell in a Cell, and you know that's why everybody was, oh, for the love of God, don't throw Cena in there. Because even though Cena Rollins would have been a great match too, that's not your money match. This isn't the match you need. The match you need is Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose inside Hell in a Cell, and that's what we're getting this Sunday. Better fucking make it the main event, or you're fucking retarded. So yeah, look forward to this one for sure. I'm gonna go with Dean Ambrose getting the win here. You know, don't really know what the future really holds after this, but don't really care. Just care about what's going on this Sunday in this inside the Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And these guys are gonna, you know, kick ass. That's what they always have done, and that's what they're gonna do here, and that's what they're gonna do into the future. And you know, we don't want to say that we're the first to say it, because you know, there's a lot of people out there that know where these guys came from, know what these guys are all about, and we're two of those guys for sure, because we saw this shit coming a long time ago, because these guys are massively talented, and the future is bright as shit, for sure. I'm going to go with Dean Ambrose on the side of the Hell in a Cell.
When you think of the main event of pay-per-views, it's usually the guy that's on that quote-unquote poster. The pay-per-view poster, the poster that used to be behind us before we became lazy. And whenever I saw the Hell in a Cell poster, I sent to the J-Man, it was the Dean Ambrose in that cell, and just a sick, creepy way he is. And that's whenever I had a good feeling that we're going to see Rollins and Ambrose finally in that Hell in a Cell to finally end this feud, which I hope it doesn't end. I hope it continues on and we have Survivor Series teams off this and go on from there. I just thought, where they continue it. But
that'd be good.
Once again, just thinking outside the box, WWE can't do it. But when we had the turn, Rollins turn Ambrose, the other guy doesn't really matter. I kind of had a feeling that those two were going to be the ones that ran with it. Those were going to be the ones that you would see on the big spotlight and the big stars whenever they become famous in WWE's terms. Because we, in the Pulse, understand where they came from, the steps they took, and how they built themselves up to get in WWE. Everybody else is like, oh, they were the Shield, now they're not. So we have to build them up and all this in WWE terms. If this isn't main event, there's going to be a lot of people unhappy. I know everybody wants to see that Cena and Orton or what other match they really can do with this in the main event. But having the Ambrose-Rollins match in the main event, in the cell, to finally finish the feud would be the icing on the cake of this pay-per-view. It would just finally end everything. It would just be, okay, we're done. Let's see what these two can do against other people. Who's going to win? I see Ambrose winning this. I really don't care who wins this. As long as there's no shenanigans with the authority and all that into this, I see them doing it. But I just hope for a good match. I hope all this hype I have inside me, all the butterflies of getting to the pay-per-view is worth it. I don't want to get disappointed. It seems like lately WWE has been disappointing a lot of people because they realize their competition is nowhere near, so they think they can just take it, put everything on the back burner, and just chill. And like Jamin said, wait till Rumble, and then we get to the Mania stuff again. We have a lot going on. We have Survivor Series that we're all attending. We don't want to be disappointed, and we don't want to waste our money on something that we could just be sitting in the basement and watching for $9.99.
Right. So yeah, definitely looking forward to that main event. Should be some great stuff, and really awesome to just think about that this is what these guys are doing this soon. So that's awesome to see that, and great to see the WWE's getting behind these kind of guys, because that's the future. And last time I checked, the guys that are the president, have been the president for years and years, aren't going to be those guys anymore, and you can't keep relying on them. You got to start looking towards the future, and you can't look anymore towards the future with guys like Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins. They're the guys, that's for sure. So really looking forward to that one. And yeah, this will now wrap up our WWE Hell in a Cell 2014 preview. Be sure to check out our review after the pay-per-view Sunday. For my partner Quaddy, I am J-Man, and thank you for watching another edition of Pro Wrestling Pulse. Professional Wrestling.